Does your OCD make it hard for you to shower? We're going to talk all about it. Hi, my name is Natasha Daniels. I'm a therapist and make videos for people with anxiety or OCD. And today I want to talk about OCD. And more in particular, I want to talk about showering. Showering is a very common issue when it comes to OCD for a lot of different reasons. And I'm going to talk to you about how to take your power back and take your showers back. Before I get started, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified because I make new videos every Thursday. Okay, so let's talk about the shower issue. So I want to just first say that it's going to be different for each one of you because even though showering is the problem, why showering is a problem will vary and it'll be different depending on your OCD theme. And OCD loves to tackle and make difficult the things that you have to do on a daily basis, like showering or eating or washing your hands or going to the bathroom or sleeping, right? So a lot of you have issues in a lot of those different areas. Showering is a popular one. And I'm going to explain why. So for some people, they have to wash, right? So if you have to wash your hands compulsively, you also have to shower compulsively. You have to get the contamination off of you. And some of you have a lot of what we call magical thinking, which means I need to do this in order to prevent this from happening. And so you have very long shower routines because you have to do these things in order to avoid something bad happening. And some of you have what we call moral OCD issues, where you worry about being a bad person or being inappropriate. And the idea of being in a shower without your clothes on is too overwhelming. So that's a lot of different issues for a lot of different reasons. And I want to talk to you about how to deal with any of those. The first thing, and I'm going to give you some suggestions that depend on your theme. So the first one is overwashing. And so if you're compulsively overwashing, there is some forms of OCD where the brain doesn't know when to stop. And so you're not getting that message that says it's enough. And so you might wash and wash and wash. And then you might think, I don't feel clean enough, or is that good enough? Or did I get that part? So you get stuck in a loop because that part of your brain's not saying, yep, we're good, move on. And so for that issue, you might want to practice. How long does a shower take? You might even survey other people in your family or your friends and say, typically how long does your shower take? And then for someone that you feel comfortable with, you might say, can you walk me through your shower routine? Because what I have found is a lot of people who overwipe when they go to the bathroom or overshower or overwash their hands. Sometimes they've been doing it for so long that they don't know what typical is. So a lot of times in my therapy practice, we'll start off with what is typical behavior and what is OCD behavior. How much toilet paper does one typical person use on average? And what does OCD want you to use? How long does someone shower and how long do they spend in each area? And what does OCD want you to do? And so that can really actually be helpful. It might seem obvious, but it's not for a lot of people because OCD will kind of get in your head and tell you this is typical, or why wouldn't you do this? And that can get a little tricky. So that's the first step. And then you might want to practice that. Let me practice it how long this is going to take and this take. And you might even get a timer and say, okay, I'm going to try to only wash once, from my head to my toe. And I'm going to take a timer and I'm going to see if I can get it under this amount of time. And maybe you're taking really, really long showers and you're only going to try to crunch your time a little bit. And the next time a little bit. And the next time a little bit more. One small step at a time leads to big change. So don't overwhelm yourself. If you're feeling nervous about it, just take one small step at a time. So that's one area that some people can work on. Now, other people might have a lot of compulsive behavior, a lot of rules in the shower. I need to do this. Maybe I need to do it in this order. Maybe I need to go back and do this thing or touch this thing or do it in this way, right? Or maybe I have to balance things, or maybe I have to touch the faucet. Whatever it is for you, it's going to be different for each one of you. So for that, a lot of times I'll have people write a whole list of all of their compulsions that are related to the shower. And sometimes you can have pages and pages and pages. And that's why your shower is hours and hours long. And depending on your comfort level or how empowered you're feeling, you can take one of those things and cross it off and say, okay, I'm going to do everything else, but I'm not going to do that one compulsion, that one rule in my shower. Or I'm not going to do these 3 things. and every day or every few days or every week or two, you take one more thing off and you don't add things. This is the tricky thing about OCD. OCD is very smart. It's like playing chess. You make a move, OCD makes a move. So OCD will say, no worries. Oh, you want your shower to be, without those 3 compulsions, those 3 OCD rules? That's fine. I'll make the other ones longer, or I'll come up with new ones. So I'll replace them. As soon as you get rid of those, I'll give you new ones. So you have to be the OCD police and say, not only am I cutting out this compulsion, I'm not going to do this behavior in the shower anymore, but I'm not going to add any new ones. So when you whisper to me OCD and you say, maybe, if you just like do this little thing with your hand, after that, everything will be good. No, I'm not going to do that. That is another compulsion. That's not on my list. I'm not adding to my list. Now, if it does happen to happen, that was a lot, happen to happen. If it does, then you're going to want to add it to your list, because sometimes, OCD wins and that's okay. It's not a win or lose. It's progression. It takes time. But add it to your list, because then you're going to tackle that, right? And you can visually see what you're taking off your list and what sometimes is getting added onto it. And that can be helpful. And so you want to look at your time as well. So if you are doing all those compulsions, you also want to maybe measure your time. And so you want to say, okay, it takes me this amount of time to take a shower, and I'm going to reduce my time and maybe 1 compulsion. That can be very helpful. Just remember, it's going to take time. We're talking a lot about time. It's a process. So don't beat yourself up. Don't get discouraged. Even if you take 2 steps forward and then all of a sudden you're taking 1 step back, it's just going to take time. So stick with it. The last thing I want to mention is a totally different issue that you might have a problem with the shower for. Well, there's 2 actually things I want to bring up. So if you have moral OCD, you might feel uncomfortable seeing yourself without clothes on. That is actually a common OCD problem too. So it's very different than the other issues we're talking about. You might have both, but you might have just this issue. And so you might avoid. You might take a shower with your eyes closed, or you might avoid showers altogether because it's too triggering. And so avoidance, and a lot of people avoid showers. This was the other point I was going to bring up. They avoid showers. And so we have people with OCD who over shower. They're showering multiple times a day, long showers all the time for various different reasons, a lot of times contamination issues. But then you also have people who avoid showers. And sometimes we avoid showers because we know once we get in the shower, it's going to be very, very long. We might get stuck in there. Or we avoid showers because we're clean and we're not contaminated, and then we're going to have to come out of the shower and we want to stay clean, and it creates more distress and more anxiety. And some of you, just like I said before, have like moral OCD issues where you just don't want to see yourself naked or not dressed. So avoidance is a compulsion. When we avoid, our OCD grows bigger. And so the more you try to not take a shower for whatever the reason, the more you're not going to want to take a shower, and the bigger your OCD grows. So even if you're avoiding taking a shower because you don't want to do all those compulsions, guess what? Not taking a shower, it's another compulsion. I'm sorry. So you never want to avoid. You want to get in that shower and keep, building those OCD muscles to handle the discomfort that OCD brings with it. And so if you don't like seeing yourself without clothes, then maybe you go in the shower for like 2 seconds, or maybe you avoid eye contact. And then as you progress, you start to slowly look at different body parts. The key is that you're just doing small little steps, and as they feel okay, you keep moving on and on. And when I say feeling okay, it doesn't mean that the discomfort goes away. It doesn't mean that the intrusive thoughts or feelings go away. It means that you're able to handle the discomfort and you're able to move through it, and you're showing your brain, I can handle this. It doesn't feel great, but I can handle this discomfort. The more you do, the smaller OCD grows. And that's the goal, right? Doing is the goal. And so doing things that make you uncomfortable, leaning in to your discomfort, and leaning into what OCD doesn't want you to do, or what OCD wants you to do, right? So reducing all of those compulsions in the shower are key. So I hope this gives you a starting point. Just remember, this isn't going to go away overnight. It didn't happen overnight for most of you, and it will take time, and you want to be patient with yourself. But the main thing is you always want to be taking one tiny step or one huge step, however empowered and brave you're feeling, towards your fears, towards your discomfort, not away from it. The more you move away from it, the more you do what OCD wants, the more you follow OCD's rules, guess what? The more rules you're going to be given, the more compulsions you're going to have to do, the more avoidance you're going to have to do. And nobody wants to be on that hamster wheel of OCD. So I hope that this inspires you. Go take a shower. It's not going to be perfect, but go start making those small steps in the right direction. I hope you find the sparkle in everything you do, and I'll talk to you again next Thursday. Take care.